Hello and welcome back to another video on the Norwich Talk YouTube channel. My name's Alfie and today we are going to be taking a look ahead of Norwich City's game away at Wycombe tomorrow. We're going to be previewing and giving our predicted XI, so it's a mix between what we'd like to see and also what we kind of expect to see, if you like. Now, in terms of obviously just a recap, what happened last time we played Wycombe. Now, Wycombe, we beat 2-1. We scored pretty much at both kind of times of the game in terms of we scored early on through Timi Pukki and then obviously a late winner as well. And it's fair to say that Wycombe, to their credit, were a challenging opposition. I think naturally going into the game, because of how Norwich play and because of what we envisage Wycombe to play, I think we probably underestimated them. Now, of course, Wycombe do sit bottom of the league right now, but it still could be a very tough test. So let's look into the actual injuries that we have got from, I guess, the press of this week, as there seems to always be some more coming out. So we're going to start with the main one. It's Todd Cantwell. There's no kind of hiding this. It's going to be a huge miss in kind of having Todd Cantwell, and one that we definitely didn't want. And then we've also got Steeperman. Now, Steeperman, the good news is that it looks like he might be returning back from Monday onwards, I believe, for Arcasedia. So I think he scored a penalty as well in the 23 games of the day, which is always good to see. And we've got Ono Hernandez. Now, Ono Hernandez may be able to make the bench. Just I don't believe he's really ready to start. From the sounds of it in Daniel Farke's presser, he said because of the dead leg, he's kind of a potential out player that could be out. And then we've got Josh Martin as well, who has been in and out of the squad recently, but I guess it's someone who's technically in the first team, so it's worth noting as well. Now, if we just go through the team like normal, I think there's no shock in who our goalkeeper is going to be in Tim Krul. He's been absolutely fantastic. Maybe had a few blips recently, specifically, the one against Swansea, and you could say the one against Birmingham, letting Ivan Sanchez score last game. But nonetheless, I think it's fair to say Tim Krul was nailed on to be our goalkeeper again on Sunday. Back four, so I believe there'll probably be a change. So in terms of the fullbacks, no change for me there. That is Max Aarons and Yanulis. It's really, really great to see how well Yanulis is kind of settling into the side. I think there's no hiding the fact that in his first couple of games where he kind of got thrown in the deep end against Middlesbrough, especially, I think he did look a little bit off pace, and I think that's fair enough. The lads come across from a completely different country, and it has to try adapt to probably one of the toughest, if not the toughest league in the world, and that's never going to be easy. But he looks like an absolute gem of a signing so far, personally, from what I've seen. The way he bombs down that flank is really, really nice because it's so progressive in the way that we play football. And I think he's kind of nailed on to be the left back. Obviously, we know Javi Quintilla is the backup, and we know that Jakob Lungi Sorensen is not going to be kind of playing there anymore. But I think this definitely deserves a nod because for me over the last couple of games he's been fantastic. Obviously, if you exclude the mistake against Stoke at home, I think he has been what looks to be a fantastic signing. And of course with Max Aarons as ever, there's no wonder why there's so many teams sniffing around him this transfer window. He's been absolutely fantastic, and yet again proving his worth to us in gold, in the fact that he's just putting out consistent performances. Even if he has an off night, he's still one of the best players on the pitch. So he absolutely is our right back to go for in the next game. Now, the centre back partnership is going to be an interesting one. I'd love to kind of get your thoughts in the comments on this as well. Now, personally, with the news that Gibson is going to be back for this game, I absolutely would put him in straight away. And that's not to discredit Christoph Zimmerman. I just personally think that Ben Gibson is an absolutely such a valuable member of this side and such a key player and component into why we're doing so well as it is. And I do think that Zimmerman is at the level to play in this team. I just think that Ben Gibson is better and deserves to be starting ahead of him over just his performances at this, so far this season. Whether or not he does get the nod will be interesting. I think if he lines up with Zimmerman, people probably won't really complain, but I definitely feel more confident with someone like Ben Gibson at the back with Hanley. And, Hanley, again, and enough said, he's one of those players where, he'll give you an absolutely fantastic performance. Up there definitely is a front runner for a player of the season. Really rejuvenated himself this season and been absolutely fantastic week in, week out. So it's great to see great to see that as well. And hopefully he can continue that great form again with his, I guess, more consistent defensive partner in Ben Gibson. In terms of the midfield too, no change again here. Ollie Skip. I mean, yeah, there's just so much superlatives we could go on about with this young man. I mean, he's absolutely fantastic. Some would say adding goals to his game now, which I guess is an interesting statement. But he still was again putting in another fantastic display away at Birmingham in what was really a tough game. And again, his partner in crime in Kenny McLean in midfield has again been fantastic. The way he drives through midfield is just brilliant and kind of vintage McLean from the championship season when we went up. And I think it's just really nice to see a consistent pairing in the middle doing so well as well. I think obviously a lot of the plaudits go to Skip because Skip is just what seems to be a generational talent. But I think Kenny McLean has been without doubt an absolute star this year, and hopefully he can continue his good form as well again. And with players like Lucas Rupp, who could potentially, and even Alex Tete as well to a degree, keeping them out the side. Lucas Rupp obviously come on and made an impact against Birmingham with the assist, but I think there's no doubt in saying that Kenny McLean deserves the nod above anyone else as well. If we look at the three in front of them, now again, assuming Emi Buendia is the first name on the team sheet, I think it's pretty fair to be said he's been absolutely fantastic. And again, that he's just one of those players where there's no other option. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head the win record without him, but I think it speaks for itself in terms of whenever we're without Emi Buendia, we do really struggle. So, the longer he's in here, the more confident I am. And, I'm sure he'll put out another fantastic performance and no doubt probably get another couple of assists or a goal. But yeah, I think there's kind of enough said about Emi Buendia. He will be starting, no doubt. In the whole is a bit of an interesting one. I still think he'll go for Mario Vrancic because I think he has this kind of almost like Kenny McLean last year, is this kind of unbeknown loyalty towards him, and that's not a bad thing. Farkot clearly likes Vrancic. Personally, I feel like he's very inconsistent at the moment. I feel like some games he plays a blinder and plays fantastic and really contributes to the play. Other games, I just feel like he's pretty lackluster. And as much as my inner Dow fan wants to say, look, just give Dow a run out, give him the chance to go out there and playing that number 10 role and really compete for it, I really cannot see that happening. I really do think that Mario Vrancic will play in that number 10. And if he has a great game, he's absolutely going to be contributing at least, an assist or I guess key passes, chances, etc. And he's proved that throughout his career here so far, and hopefully that can continue again against Wycombe. And then I guess the only kind of player we can really put out to replace Todd Cantwell this week, with the fact that Ono Hernandez is injured as well, is Paqueta, and he's a player that we haven't seen for a couple of weeks now. Obviously he had that spell where he started, and I think maybe he got a little bit of stick. And I think that's probably fair to say upon reflection. He's definitely a different type of player, and we're going to miss that, I think, against a team like Wycombe. The technicality that Todd Cantwell possesses would slice through the defence of Wycombe, and that's no disrespect to Wycombe, but more of just a really just saying how great of a role that Cantwell plays, and a compliment to him. I don't think it's a bad thing though. I think to look at this on a positive, if he can kind of play on that last man and get in behind them, I think we've seen teams like Wycombe, I think, come back to the first game, there's been a couple of teams this year that we've played where we just absolutely, we could, kill them from the ball in behind. And I think Wycombe maybe a team like that again, where you can kind of use the pace from Paqueta over over the top and even down the line, to try and get those kind of balls into Pookie. And yes, it will be a slightly different approach, but realistically, will one small change to your side make a huge difference tactically? I don't think it'll make a humongous difference, especially with Buendia in the side. But look, we'll have to wait and see. But I think there's probably no real other options, especially with other players like Josh Martin out and even Buddy Mumba, if you even want to throw him in the conversation for his cameo against not Derby at home, against Swansea at home. There we go. But I think Paqueta probably deserves a nod on this occasion. And then up front, there's really no other option to Thibaut Pukki. I mean, the man is absolutely fantastic. I think there's no doubt that he's I would say probably one of the best players in the Championship, maybe second best striker in the Championship behind Ivan Toney, who seems to be firing on all cylinders again this season. But Timo Pukki, I mean, some of the finishes he's doing. I mean, the first goal against Birmingham, of course, yes, he did miss the penalty, but you know, he's also tucked a couple away this year with confidence, especially the one against Stoke. So you know, those kind of misses happen, and I'm not going to crucify him for it. But you know, the first goal against Birmingham was absolutely superb, and the second one, even then, is such striker instinct to kind of pounce on that loose ball and more importantly, as silly as it sounds, tuck it away, you know, because the keeper didn't stop playing, you know, and I think that's the important thing as well. He still had to be there, be lively, and finish that off. And you know, credit to Pukki because he's single-handedly kind of performing in a way that he did, you know, in the year we went up and almost carrying us, if you like, to what hopefully will be the title, no doubt. That is the predicted 11. Now, again, I'd love to hear if you maybe had any of your thoughts. You know, you could talk about, you know, even Adam Ida, you know, shifting out like we've seen before on the left wing instead of Paqueta, and maybe playing almost like a kind of asymmetric in terms of going for maybe a two up top. And when we're going forward, I don't think that's probably going to be something that we do, but I think Paqueta is, you know, probably a more suitable option tactically. But you know, in terms of kind of looking at the game itself, what I expect from it, I think the one thing which I'm hoping for is the fact that we're going to be playing a team which is going to not necessarily sit back. You know, I think Wycombe didn't necessarily sit back entirely. You know, they did come out to attack us in the home fixture for periods of the game, but I do think that Norwich playing away from home right now does benefit us hugely. You know, we've seen it with Coventry and Birmingham in the last week. Teams do come out to attack us, and I think that just plays into our favour, you know, exponentially, and really does help us kind of play without that kind of, you know, having to break down teams for 80, 90 minutes of the game. And you know, I also think we do play better in that scenario. There's more openings. We've seen it, especially with Timo Pukki. He thrives off the you know, the space and the ball between the defenders and the ball in behind. And I think that space really only opens up consistently if you play a team like this away from home, where they're kind of forced to say, "Look, we're the home team. We'll come after you." So, do I think this will be a Norwich win? I think, you know, you kind of have to predict it. You're playing bottom of the league and you're top of the league and flying at the moment. So you know, we should be looking at this game for 3 points. That's not to say that Wycombe won't go out without a fight, and you know, Wycombe won't have their chances, because we've seen it with other teams that have gone there this year. You know, that they've struggled. I think Reading was it. I think they lost there a couple of weeks ago. So, in terms of my prediction, we won 2-1 in the first game, and I'm predicting a 2-0 this time. I think, judging of how we've played recently, especially away from home with Coventry and Birmingham, pretty much almost back to back, because it was quite a lot of games in one period of time. I think that confidence is high, and I think the team, okay, we will miss Todd Cantwell, and that is a big player to miss, but I think that there's no doubt in my mind that we'll get the job done. Um, you know, obviously you could take things into account like the pitch, for example, but I'm not really worried about that after seeing the state of St Andrews. You know, over the last couple of weeks, I think we could pretty much play on any Sunday League pitch and still perform the way we are. So I'm going for a 2-1. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it in the comments. Of course, if you have any, you know, other suggestions for the team, please let me know. And if you'd like the video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more Norwich City content. But until the next time, have a good one.